What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, bringing you like one of my most favourite decks, and that is UAs. Now UAs are a deck that came out in Daughters Alliance, so literally like the time that I got back into Yugioh, which is why I love them so much. But they're a deck that have been screaming out for support, and finally in Phantom Rage they got loads of support. They got a brand new field spell, they got a brand new normal summon monster, and they got a brand new pretty much skill drain player and a pop player, like insane. I took this to my final locals of what I'm hoping is not of the year, but possibly is of the year, and I actually got second place. The deck performed insanely well, and I will show you a combo at the end of the video of exactly how good this deck is going first and second. With that said and done, if you would like to see a duel from my locals at this weekend where UAs took on not only Tribe Brigade Furhighs, but also took on Date Escapes or Virtual Worlds as well, alongside Madolches, Cyber Dragon Dragoon, and of course I believe it wasn't Toons. What was the last one? Oh, Monarchs. So like, I had so much fun playing this deck. It's so good. It's definitely a sleeper deck. Like you can... This extra deck doesn't matter. You can pick up the main deck so cheaply. Anyway, if you want to see those duels, please smash the like button. Get this video to at least 50 likes. I can bring you test hands, I can bring you combos, I will bring you duels as well. Whatever you guys want to see. With that out of the way, let's show you my second place UA deck profile. Absolutely love this deck, so fun. So the gimmick of this deck is that most of the cards can special summon themselves from the hand by returning a UA monster from the field to the hand. So we start off with triple of the brand new one, and that is the Yugioh Spiker. I was actually playing this at 2, but then I was like, whoa, this is way better than midfielder. So you can special summon this card from the hand by returning one UA monster except itself. Only special summon it once per turn. And then during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can shuffle one level 5 or higher UA monster from your hand into the deck. And if you do special summon one UA monster from your deck with a different name, then return this card to the hand. So it allows you to drop the skill drain during your opponent's turn. It also allows you to bring out Rebounder during your opponent's turn, which in turn revives from the graveyard. And it can also get you a perfect ace or a back blocker as well, which turn into your Omni Negates and your General Negates. We've then got double UA midfielder. So this is the other like normal summon monster of the deck without a tribute. Usually he was the main card, basically, you can special summon this card again from the hand by returning a UA. His only effect is during the player's turn, you can target one other UA monster you control, return it to the hand, and special summon one UA monster. So it's a way of dodging a bit of negation in a sense, but he's literally here as the another normal summon. Then we've got 2 of the brand new card, UA Player Manager. Love this card. So good. If you normal or special summon a UA monster or monsters except during a damage step, you can special summon this card from the hand. If this card is special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Target one card on the field, destroy it. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field until the end of the next turn. Until the end of the turn. Except UA monsters. So basically, your UA Player Manager, if you use Yugioh Spiker, you can bring out Player Manager during your opponent's turn, and it basically becomes a blanket negate as a 26 defender, or just a target pop, which is insanely good. This can out Dragoon people. This gets dropped down, you negate all effects on the field, including Dragoon, which means Dragoon can then be targeted, which then means you can go into Dreadnought Dunker, and Dunker can just attack a card and pop it. Beautiful. Anyway, our defensive cards, we've got double UA Perfect Ace. This is your Omni Negator. So again, special summon it from the hand by returning a UA, and then once per turn during your opponent's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can discard one card and negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. This is a quick effect. Woo! And then for the one-offs, we've got the one Mighty Slugger. Now this is basically like an Armades. It's not as good in today's game, but a lot of people wasn't playing this. It's another level 5 that you can summon from the deck using Sign and Deal, which means you don't take as much life points damage. This actually won me a game against Madolches purely because their effects wanted to go off in the damage step. So if I attacked with Slugger, they wouldn't get the effect to shuffle back in, which really hurts them sometimes. So again, special summon it from the hand by returning a UA monster, and then if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So it's just a nice 2300 beta that your opponent's going to go, oh cool, I can't do a lot there. But your main aggressor card that you're going for is going to be your Dreadnought Dunker. This card's actually insane. So again, special summon it from the hand by returning one UA monster. Once per turn, if this card attacks a defense visual monster, inflict piercing battle damage. You can when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So it's not once per turn that effect. You can only summon it once per turn. But if this card attacks, and why I say it's important not to be once per turn is if you equipped it with UA Power Jersey, it can attack twice. So it does piercing damage and it will pop a card. So again, you attack a card, you deal damage, you're going to pop a card. Really, really nice. That is your main aggressor. And you've got to keep in mind as well, the field spell boosts all of your special summon monsters by all of your monsters by 500 attack every time you special summon a UA monster. So again, I'll show you towards the combo as well that if you open up UA Signing Deal, you can actually get Perfect Ace up to a 3k attack during your first turn, which means you don't have to leave him in defense if you don't want to. The one rebounder, I'm actually considering cutting this. The issue is it needs to be normal summon during your turn or special summon during your opponent's turn, which means the Libero Spike is going to come into play. But the only time this is then useful is if you've got a Perfect Ace in the graveyard. So basically, once per turn, if this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn or normal summoned, you can special summon one UA monster from your hand or graveyard except himself. So the idea is that you would need to then trigger... Spiker would then trigger Bounder, but ideally you want to be going for Manager. Or Ace if you don't already have it, but your starting combo you should always end up with Ace. So I'm considering cutting him out, but he still does put in a bit of work. And then the block backer. So what's really good about this is your end board should be block backer plus Perfect Ace plus any of your back row. So you're going to be able to set yourself up with a couple of Omni Negates or an Omni Negate with Perfect Ace, a Monster Negate off of block backer, and then like whether you're playing Gozen or Imperms or anything else like that. So again, I really like this card. It's a nice 27 defender. You can get him up to 2600 attack during the first turn if you open up well enough, and really, really good. I've then got 2 Ash Blossoms. I've got 2 Ash Blossoms because I'm going with 3 Imperm. That's literally it, and I wanted to keep this as a 40 card deck. Now we get on to the most broken card this deck has ever had, and that is triple UA Hyper Stadium. Love this card. This card came out in Phantom Rage. So it's always treated as an FA card. Now what that means is basically FA Navigator, if you wanted to play her, you could normal summon it or special summon it and then search yourself out the UA Hyper Stadium. But through testing yesterday, you really don't need it. You see this so consistently, it's crazy. So when this card is activated, so it can't be ogred, you can add 1 UA or FA monster from your deck to your hand or 1 UA Stadium. Hello! From your deck to your hand. Then you can reveal 1 field spell from your hand and pay 1000 life points. You can normal summon 1 UA or FA monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon or set. Only gain this effect once per turn. You can only activate 1 stadium per turn, or Hyper Stadium per turn. Now the only thing I need to confirm, and what this will ultimately do is it means you get 1 less search, is if this needs to stay on the field to give you the additional normal. If it doesn't, the idea is you're literally just going to go, okay, replace it with UA Stadium. And then UA Stadium is, if a UA monster is normal summoned, you get to add a UA monster. If a UA monster is special summoned, all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack, and this stacks, and neither of those effects are once per turn. So the idea is you'd activate Stadium, use your additional normal summon, get a search of Stadium, bring that monster that you've just used as your normal summon, which is midfielder or spiker, back to the hand, special summon a UA monster, that goes up by 500. Normal summon again, get another search. That will then come back to hand, special summon it again, which means your UA Perfect Ace, it usually is your first card you're going to search out, is going to become 2500 base, and then the next card you make will become in a, usually it's going to be block backer, which is going to become a 2100 base, and then if you've got UA Signing Deal, they all boost up again as well. You got the 1 Terraforming to search them out. You don't really need set rotation, but you can do if you want to. There's enough consistency in this to go. Your extra deck means nothing in this deck because you've got enough beaters, so triple Extrav. I saw this pretty much every game I played. Only once did I draw into useless cards, being that I drew into another copy of Extravagance and a card that kind of actually helped me extend, to be fair. We've then got triple Foolish Burial Goods. This is literally just for your penalty box because you send penalty box. Penalty box lets you add a UA spell. The brand new field spell counts as a UA spell. So you can banish that, there's your UA spell, and as long as you've got a UA monster, your combo from that, from a 2-card combo, will turn into pretty much an Omni Negate and a normal Negate, plus 2 monsters in the hand. So really, really good, and you still have 3 more cards to play around with. Double UA Signing Deal. Ideally, you want to special summon out Liberu Spiker because it's going to cost you the less. But you get to special summon 1 UA monster from your deck, but its effects are negated, can't be used as Synchro or XYZ material. Then you lose life points equal to the level of that monster times 300. The idea is, you activate Signing Deal, you're then going to bounce that monster back using one of the other UAs in your hand, and then you can special summon that monster because its effects won't be negated for the rest of the turn because it's basically refreshed itself. So the idea is it allows you to get another normal summon monster you can bring back to the hand. Also, it can boost up all your monsters if you've got the original UA Stadium in play, and it just allows you to get nice boosts and nice consistency. 2 works more than enough because you do need that other monster in the hand, so 3 I kind of thought was a little bit too much. Rota, all your monsters are warriors. You play 2 midfielder and 3 Libero Spiker that you can search out. Ideally, Rota wants to go for your Libero Spiker once you get it, off you go. The one power jersey, again, searchable when you need it. It's not actually as reliant right now because you've got so much more consistent ways of pumping your board of monsters. Power jersey was literally used to put onto a monster just to get you the OTK. But you have the ability, like I showed you, if you survive your first turn with an Omni-Negate and Blockbacker, your next turn, because you've already got 2 monsters in the hand, you normal summon them, Stadium will search you out, your Dunker, you special your Dunker, straight away, your Perfect Ace is at least 3k, your Blockbacker is at least going to be 26, if not 31, and then your Dunker is going to be 3k. Your Dunker attacks, does damage, pops another card, and then you've got 2 monsters going in directly, which also gives you another Omni-Negate off of your Perfect Ace as well. But Power Jersey is equipped only to a UA monster. It gains 1,000 attack and defense. Also, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. If the equipped monster destroys a monster by battle, it can attack again. It can make a second attack during this battle phase. During your standby phase, banish the equipped monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the monster returns to hand, you can add this back to your hand. So again, the idea is you're going to, whatever you equip this to, if they don't lose that turn, you bounce the monster back to hand, then you get to add Jersey back, and then you can set up your defensive plays again. Onto the traps, triple imperm, puts in a lot of work. Surprise, surprise. Triple Gozen match, you only play warriors, you only play earths. I went with Gozen match because I think there are more attributes floating around than there are different types. And this won me a game against the Furhires. The only deck that it was dead against today was the Madolches. And it was the one game that I was like, if I face Madolches, straight away 3 cards in my main deck are just going to be dead. The only thing it would have helped me with is if I shotgun this early, and this was big brain plays, if I shotgun this early, I wouldn't have been able to be Kaiju'd, which would have been funny. And then finally, 2 penalty box. So at the start of the damage step, if a UA monster battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster until your opponent's second end phase. Only use each of the effects once per turn. You can banish this card from the graveyard, add 1 UA spell. So it's mainly there as a searcher, but the penalty box is still incredibly powerful. The only issue with it is a battle trap, and it's very rare that most back row last into the battle. Usually, if you set a card, there's 1 or 2 things. If you set a card and it stays there in battle phase, your opponent is either going to know that it's a battle trap, or it's going to be a bluff. In modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, it's probably a bluff, so that's where you get the 1 big plus off of this. Because at the start of damage, you just go, okay, cool, banish. But other than that, you just really want to use it for the search ability. So that's it for the main deck. Bang on 40 card deck. If you wanted to bump any of the cards out or change stuff around, like Rebounder is probably the one that I was considering. And you could probably cut the normal UA Stadium down, but you kind of want it. Like if you open up, so the 2 card combo is literally open up Hyper Stadium and then either Terraforming, Normal Stadium, Rotor, Labiru Spiker or Midfielder. So you've got so many ways to get the 2 card combo going, it's crazy. I'll show you the side deck before I show you the extra deck. So my side deck, I was just trialing these out. Warning point, yeah boy! I'm telling you guys, pick up your warning points. I do have 3, but I only had 2 on me at the time. Pick this card up. So when a monster is summoned, this turn, that face-up monsters cannot attack, its effects are negated, and it cannot be used as material for a fusion, synchro, or XYZ summon. Guys, it's an imperm on summon. That monster can then not be used. It cannot leave the field. So if they're like, oh, cool, I was going to do this in an extender to get me into Verte. No. No. I was going to use this in an extender to get me into a rank 4. No. I'm going to use this on its summon. I'm going to use Overactor's effect on summon to use an effect to search. No. Like, this card is so good. I'm telling you right now. I think on tier 0 it's like 7 quid. If you don't buy them out, guys, I certainly will because I love this card. I think this card is so good. 1 UA turnover tactics. Again, I was just worried about massive board presence. So why this is so good is, again, is this UA spell that you can search off a penalty box. But if you control 2 or more UA monsters, and again, during the combo I'll show you how easy it is to resolve that with different names, shuffle as many monsters as on the field as possible into the deck. Then special summon UA monsters from your deck that have different names from each other up to the number of cards shuffled into your main deck, but those monsters cannot attack this turn. Then your opponent can special summon monsters from their deck up to the number of cards that were shuffled into their main deck. So, if their board is ending on like a so one of the boards, for example, Verte, Infinity, and Dragoons, they get nothing. They get nothing because nothing goes back to the main deck. It all goes back to the extra deck. So you've cleared off their board, non-target shuffle, and you've been able to bring out your own UA monsters. Like, okay, with Dragoon and Infinity, they would have had to negate this, but if you play like Droplet or Dark Ruler No More, and you're like, oh, this board's like, I can't, you technically should be able to deal with it because you've got Player Manager and you've got Dunker that's going to clear stuff off. But if you're like, oh, I can't deal with this, you just go, okay, cool, turnover tactics, shuffle everything back, let's go again. And the best thing is, it just means your UAs can't attack. Doesn't negate their effect, so it gives you another way of getting into ace and block backer. Like, insane. Triple drop lich to turn off boards. Like I said, I can actually combo off on this deck with 2 cards, so it means I've got 3 cards spare. I play a lot of traps, I play a lot of spells. I can send penalty box to the graveyard and plus off the back of that as well. So drop lit works, Dark Water No More works just as well. Triple evenly matched just for the board clears. These can be lightning storms, entirely up to you. Triple tactical talents, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I wasn't holding back on budget on this one. And triple Nibiru. To be totally honest, the only cards that I ever put in that I think I saw Nibiru once. I saw Warning Point against my game, against my Dolces, which was really funny. And everything else I didn't really see, nor did I really actually have to use. The deck's got a lot into it now. Like, it's consistently able to pump out its negates, it's consistently able to pump out its aggressors. It really doesn't matter. And saying that, the extra deck really doesn't matter too much either. I was literally using this as extra fodder. So this wasn't the exact deck, extra deck I had. I had like 4 cards from this extra deck, and the other one I just needed to make a 15 card extra deck. But if you were to have an extra deck, these are the type of cards you can play. So because you play a lot of rank 4s, or a lot of level 4s, and the majority of your monsters are level 4s, you can go into a rank 4 engine. So we've got Utopia, Cowboy, Emerald, Exciton, Castel, Tornado Dragon, and then because we've got Utopia can go into Lightning or Beyond, and then either of those two, if you're not winning the game from there, can go into Zeus, and this is just literally a flex point. That is it. So that's it for the XYZs. Again, really doesn't matter. They can either be, to get the most out of this deck, you can play Link 2s, but the idea is you want to control it with Gozen as well. Moving on to the Link monsters, again, very, very straightforward. If you are going heavy Extrav, then all I would say is you'd probably play 3 IP Masquerena because they're just easy and consistent to get out. Maybe 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, 1 Unicorn. Equamax is just there because you've got a lot of big boss monsters that Equamax can then point to. So you can pretty much, if your opponent has a monster that is insanely powerful, you can just make Equamax and deal with it. You can go through all these attributes to build into an access code, and then you've also got the Appaloosa. So again, to be totally honest, you don't need to rely on these at all. The deck has got its beat sticks. The only real issue is if it faces dinos. That's probably where you want to bring links in so you can kind of deal with the UCT. But even then, you can still back yourself up with a perfect ace. You can still back yourself up with a block backer. Still back yourself up with a dunker. You still have quick effects that can bounce them around. You still have the ability to penalty box as well. You do have a lot of utility in this deck, and that's why I love it so much. And it's such an underrated deck. It's absolutely crazy. There's so many wins out of this, and people are like, what does this do? What's UA's doing? What, huh? And like, it's so good. And it's not just, like, surprise factor certainly helps, but just general power level of this deck now and consistency is a lot higher than it was. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. Super, super happy. So thank you, Konami, for giving us brand new UA support. It's about darn time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you smash the like button, get this video to at least 50 likes, I will bring you test stands, combos, or more combos, and just generally duels with this deck as well. The more you smash the like button, the more content you unlock, the more I can provide you guys with as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and happy dueling.